Oh no, bad news again. And this can have a very tremendous negative effect on the crypto markets and could cause all the people to lose money in crypto. So watch this video till the end. We'll give you all the details and my personal expectations and how this can all go forward, because to be honest, this is just turning ugly and just turning absolutely stupid. So before we come back to the chart, before we take a look at some price levels that at this point are very important and that I think are quite dangerous right now for the price in general. Now, but before we come back to the price, let's understand exactly what happened in the last 24 hours, what, in my opinion, is not good news. Because if you watched my previous video, and if you were a smart individual, and then you watched it from the beginning and until the end to understand the entire context, and certainly you watched it at the end as well, where I said what is going to be important for the day before, it was Powell's speech. We really wanted to see what Jerome Powell is going to say and whether he's going to finally flip and finally do what Donald Trump and all of us actually want to do. And Powell, he came out and he gave us the same exact spiel just like before. So he came out, he spoke about the uncertainty in the market, about this and that, about inflation. So he said all the same stuff as he usually does. And he said that despite rising uncertainty and downside risks, the U.S. economy remains strong. Like, we've heard this for the last over a year. Nothing new. So it's the same copy-paste. I don't even know why they're doing these conferences. Like, what's the point? And it's clearly pointed out here that this is a clear signal that Powell and Fed has no intention of starting quantitative easing or accelerating interest rate cuts anytime soon. Bearish for Bitcoin and crypto. It's not just bearish for Bitcoin and crypto. It's bearish for the entire market, because for the United States, they need to refinance $7 trillion worth of debt in the next few months. And at the current rates, it's just insane. They cannot afford it. It's impossible. And it's also affecting so many businesses, so many small, medium, large businesses. Even Caesar's Palace, the casino in Vegas right now, has posted huge losses because huge interest rates. Even if huge casinos are losing money, imagine how hard the situation is. And this guy right here doesn't give two shits. And this is a bad thing. And to be honest, I think that this is a political play here. I think that he understands that it's about time for quantitative easing, for us to start cutting rates, etc. But he is playing the card of Democrats. I don't want to get political here, but this is what it seems like. Because when Donald Trump, he actually came out on this topic, and he came out and he said that European Central Bank is expected to cut rates for the 7th time, yet too late. Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which has another and typical complete mess. Well, prices are down or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he says that it's time to cut rates, that Jerome Powell is going to be simply too late. And I think, in my opinion, he's correct, because if they're going to keep these interest rates so high for much longer, we really are going to go into a recession. We need to start printing money. We need to close those deficits. Is how the system is. It's just broken. Yeah, inflation is still about 2%. At this point, we've seen that it's time to start cutting rates. And this is the moment that once they do, as I've been telling you so many times before, that once they start cutting rates, once they start stimulating the economy like China is already doing, like so many rate cuts in UK and in Europe, etc. So it's time for the US. And once this happens, this is the time we're going to see the continuation of the bull market in the crypto market. It's not going to happen without this. It's obvious at this point. And Donald Trump is pissed. But the only good thing is here, before we move on to the chart and talk about the trades and stuff, the good thing is that Trump, for months, has privately discussed firing Fed Chair Powell. He cannot fire him directly. I think if he could, he would have done it already, because Fed is not under direct control of the White House. But there are ways what he can do. I mean, Trump knows how to get around stuff, and that's why he's been doing a pretty good job so far. So this is the good news here, because if Trump gets rid of Powell and puts in someone who is more friendly to the common sense of the economy and as to what could happen next in terms of the price action, this is of utmost importance. Because even if you look at S&P 500, I mean, we kind of bounced up, but right now we're still starting to look downwards. I think that this is one of the main reasons, because Powell is just not budging. Maybe he's just on a payroll of somebody else somewhere in the United States, of some Democrats, of these forces that are against Donald Trump or whatever, and they're trying to make his life as difficult as possible, because they understand until they cut rates, until they actually go into quantitative easing, nothing will pump. Everything will crash, and it's going to affect the reputation of Donald Trump. So I think that they have political intentions here rather than the interest of people and the US economy in general, and therefore crypto people as well, because we actually depend on this. We depend on quantitative easing. So Trump also came out and said, happily, that Powell will leave if I ask him. He'll be out of there, and I don't think that he is doing a good job. Always too late, too slow. I'm not happy with him. If I want him out, he'll be out. So Donald Trump is putting a lot of pressure on Powell right now. And I think that the good news here is, even though short term right now it's not great news, and until this finally happens, until Trump finally breaks Powell, we are not going to see a pump. We simply will not see the pumps that you guys want to see and that I want to see, because so much of my money is in crypto at this point. I'm still diversified, mostly in Bitcoin, so I'm happy. My average entry price is 27,000, so still made millions. And so it's all great, but overall, it could have been so much more. It could have been a completely different story. And because of stupid political reasons and all these tensions inside of the Congress, Senate, White House, whatever, Republicans, Democrats, we are suffering because they're stagnating it on purpose. But Trump is the only hope right now for us to break Powell or get rid of him and actually go into quantitative easing, which is something that should have been done a while ago. So this is the good news. So right now we're counting on this guy to get this shit done. So also before we move to the chart, very interesting news that even though despite the turmoil, despite the uncertainty and the fears, big corporations are still buying Bitcoin like never before. Like total Bitcoin holdings of corporations is basically almost 1 million Bitcoin, which is pretty cool. The total value of Bitcoin holdings is like $60 billion. So for just the beginning of the era of ETFs and the access of institutions to crypto and to Bitcoin, I think that this is an amazing result. So while you're panicking, they're actually accumulating. So this is something I wanted to just simply point out. Now, when it comes to my trades and the chart in general, so I wanted to remind you guys that I see very interesting opportunities in the market that require capital. So it's not something for YouTube. And I'm putting together a group of solid people who really want to use the current market to their advantage. There is a link to a closed group together with me down in the description of this video. Please join it only if you're serious, if you have capital that you're ready to deploy, you're adequate, and you're ready to act in this market. So I don't want people who have no money, who are just trying to 10x their $10, etc. It's all great. You can watch my content, you can enjoy my products, but if you want to be in the same group with me, you got to be at some kind of a level where you would be bringing something to the table. So if you want to be part of this amazing group, link to it is down in the description of this video. And this is a group personally together with me, and today we're going to be doing a call at 8 p.m. Dubai time, actually discussing what is of utmost importance when it comes to the current market situation and how you can actually benefit from it, because I'm restructuring my approach to my finances currently because of what is happening, and there are some opportunities I'm seeing here that I'm not going to be discussing on YouTube because it's not for the retail eye, so to speak. It's just not going to be any use for them because it requires capital and actual preparation. So join the group if it sounds like something you wanted to be part of. So when it comes to general levels and my trades, I want to show you the general perspective, because right now we are at a very important resistance. A lot of people can get caught and actually could possibly lose some money here, because right now, let me actually zoom out a little bit. This is a very important resistance. I know it's just lines and stuff, but it's technical analysis, and it is also very important. Sometimes in the market, sometimes the price doesn't care about it, sometimes it's very important. As you've seen here, technical analysis just worked spot on. So at this point, we are at this very, very immaculate, precise, and beautiful resistance, which in my opinion is something that is holding the price back at this point. And if we zoom in, you will see that price is trying to break it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and it cannot break it. And every time when it tries to break a level, it becomes weaker and weaker, and the buyer that is trying to push the price higher is just being exhausted, which usually leads to a correction. And our closest level here is 83.5, which is just a tiny, very small level, the breaking of which would just go into the interest area that I'm currently interested in for my long trades. But I'm just hoping that who cares about those short-term trades. I'm really hoping that we're going to actually have some good news, that we're going to actually break out of here. But at this point, with what Powell just said and this entire situation, unless I think what could cause the break of this level, if finally Trump announces that he finds a replacement for Powell will be gone, and then it means quantitative easing is coming, and this could really break the level, and at a retest would be a great entry. So this is something that I'm personally looking at when it comes to ETH sale. This is what I've explained to you guys before. Same kind of a situation. The price is still very weak. I could entertain some possibility of some longs from this area that I showed you before. When it comes to Solana, a bit stronger, but even at the current prices, I'm not really interested much in it because I still have my trade here over on Bybit. It's still got some kind of a profit on the side. It's just a ridiculously small trade, just because for active trades right now, I'm being very careful. Swing trades is a different thing, still there, spots still there, but the rest, like active trades, still being extremely careful. And as you can see, I'm trading over on Bybit, and in the description, Bybit was nice enough to give you guys in our community up to $30,000 initial deposit bonuses and up to 42% discount on trading fees, as well as a discount on debit card fees if you register with this exclusive link down the description of this video. And you can always create a new account with a different form of identification, such as a driver's license. So this is the current state of things for this Friday. Remember about this private Zoom call we'll have today with our community and our closed group at 8 p.m. Dubai time. Link to it is down in the description of this video. But please join it only if you have capital, you're a serious individual, and you're not going to waste our time. So I'll see you there.